thanks for gardening with me. I'm Melissa, and today we're going to be working in the far back side of our property. It's the wild side. I have pretty much everything up close to the house finished. I do have an island up there that I still want to work on, but we need to get a bunch of topsoil brought in for that. So back here, the main thing that I need to do is to create the beds and to get rid of the poison ivy. So that's a chore, you know. My husband's been working on getting rid of the poison ivy back here for the last 7 years since we bought the house. But it's just, if any of you have poison ivy in your yard, you know it's really hard to get rid of. So we're working on it, but there's also some wild honeysuckles back here, some wild rambling roses that we need to get rid of. And in their place, we'd like to plant some evergreens, some arborvitae, and maybe a blue spruce, a few things like that, and some red maple trees, just something to tie in the back of the property with the front of the property. I will take you on a little tour of it right now so you can see what it looks like. And this is the bed that I'm going to be working in right here. It all started a few days ago when a neighbor of mine gave me some more irises, and so I thought, well, I'll plant them back here. And then looking at it from the deck, I thought, wow, I could really use some white back there to make that area pop. And next thing you know, I'm knee-deep making a new flower bed. That's just how it works. So I'll keep you posted on how it goes, and I'll show you the work in the meantime. We would like to build an arbor back here so it looks like there's an entrance way, and put some evergreens on either side of that. We have a path that goes back through the woods, so it would be nice to really accentuate that. And it's just going to take some time. This is probably going to be a project that's going to take us a couple years to do. So I'll bring you along the journey with me, and you can see. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please give me a comment and let me know. And in the meantime, I will show you what I'm working on. So this is the flower bed I started working in yesterday. It's coming along. It still has a lot more work to go, that's for sure. And above it is this wild honeysuckle, and it just grows so much every year. So I really need to cut that back, and I'll do that today. Like I said, the front of it doesn't look too bad. You can really see right where I left off yesterday, which is right there. But the back of this bed is just, you can see it needs a lot of work. So I'm going to get in there today, try to get rid of some of those weeds, cut back the honeysuckle, and we're going to have to bring some mulch in here because I think that the weeds are really going to want to come back in strong. So hopefully I can get that taken care of. And then we have a little pathway back here. There's our firewood that needs to go back into this part of the yard. My husband created this little pathway, and it goes back in there, and then we have some stones back in there and firewood, things like that. This is more firewood that we need to take back there, and right behind that is just a bed of poison ivy. It's horrible. This tree, which I can't go up and show you the top because the sun would be right in your eyes, but the poison ivy has just ruined these trees. They were left to go for a very long time, and so they just really do not look good now. So they need to come out, and then I'd like to plant something really nice in here. I'm not sure what kind of tree yet, something that'll grow fast. There's our barn. We put that in 2 years ago, and I would like to get some plantings around that. This is our fire pit, obviously. This is a bench that a really good friend of mine, Todd, made for us. It has her name on it. So love that. We've had that for a very long time. And then there's a view of the house from here. So it's really nice when we come back here. It feels almost like you're camping because it's just so secluded. And I think we would probably spend a lot more time back here if there wasn't so much poison ivy. So see how bare that tree is until you get all the way to the top? It's because it was just riddled with poison ivy, but my husband's got that one pretty much under control. So I'll show you what I do today, and I'll keep you updated over the next couple years and see what we have going on back here. So these are the 2 seed packets today that I'm going to be planting. I'm going to just direct sow them into the ground. It's supposed to be pretty hot, so they should germinate pretty quick. Yesterday I put some Artemisia, I think is how you pronounce it, a couple of those plants in, and a Shasta daisy in. I really want to bring some white back here because it draws you in, especially in the evening. It really lights an area up. It's not going to be an all white garden because I already have some yellow daylilies back here, and then I have the iris that I just planted. But I think that this will be a nice addition to it, and it'll border the front of the flower bed very nicely. And this is the tool that I told you about that I use often. I use this all the time. So here's what the beds look like. Now that I have it dug out, I wanted to show you how deep it is and the sharp edge that I have. And the reason that I dig it kind of deep is so that I make sure that I get all of the grass roots and all of the roots from the weeds. Sometimes I think it is tempting when you're opening up a new bed to just lay soil right down on top of the grass or whatever you have going on and not preparing the soil. And that's just a mistake because you're going to be paying for it for years because the weeds will still keep popping up. So you're better off to take the extra time, do the work, and get all of the weeds and all the grass out now. Also, I'm going to be sowing some seeds directly into the ground. And if I didn't have all the weeds up, then I might not be able to tell what is seed and what is weed, and I might end up pulling my seedlings. So here you go, and then I'm going to put some compost in there. And I'm also going to be planting one of the plants, one of the black-eyed Susans that I dug up from my perennial border the other day. This is compost, and I'm just working it in with the existing soil. Make sure I keep my edges nice and clean. And I'm going to go ahead and sow some seed. 14 to 21 days to germinate, and it's the snow in summer. And those I planted down here, and those also say plant 1/8 of an inch deep. Spacing is 12 to 24 inches apart, and the height of that gets to be 6 to 8 inches, so still under a foot. So there you have it. I have a lot of the bed dug out. I dug it out deep enough so that I got a lot of the roots. I'm going to go back in and check and make sure that I didn't miss any. I'll keep an eye on it over the next week or so to see if I have any weeds coming up. Days to germination on these are anywhere from 5 days, and then the other one is up to 3 weeks. Like I said though, I think that they'll germinate a lot quicker than that, being that it's going to be so hot outside. The main thing with the seeds though is you want to make sure that they don't dry out. So I'm going to water them in really good today, and then I'm going to come back and mulch them and make sure that they stay cool and moist underneath. And if we don't get rain for a few days, I may come back and water them again. I think we are supposed to get some rain, and so if we do, I'm just not going to worry about it. My theory with plants back here is it needs to be tough, and they need to be able to make it on their own, because I'm not going to be dragging a hose out here and watering them. If you have to do that once or twice during the season, that's one thing, but to do it every couple days, I just won't do it. So I got to make sure that what I have is tough back here and that it can survive.